Before we begin the story, write in the comments which part of the world you're watching from today. Karina and Dima met back in university. Many men courted Karina. Her deep brown eyes, long hair, and natural beauty left no one indifferent. She didn't need makeup to look stunning, but Karina was more focused on her studies than on romance. She dreamed of becoming a doctor to help people and had promised her grandmother she would become the best in her field. 2 months before her thesis defense, Karina accidentally bumped into a young man in the hallway. The papers she was carrying to be bound flew all over the floor. Dima, the one who caused the mess, was embarrassed and immediately started helping. Karina just sat on the floor, staring at the chaos. 2 hours of careful organizing gone. In an instant, Dima noticed her sadness. "Is this your thesis?" he asked. She just nodded. "Let's go to a table. I'll help you sort everything," he offered. As they laid the papers out, they got to talking. It turned out Dima was from another university and had come to deliver his younger sister's work. She was sick and couldn't do it herself. When Karina finally left the building with her thesis ready, she was surprised to see Dima waiting for her on the steps. "I still feel bad about what happened," he smiled. "May I buy you a coffee?" Karina had no plans, so she agreed. They talked for 2 hours in the cafe, realizing they had so much in common. After the thesis defense, they celebrated in the same cafe, which became a special place for them. A week later, Karina went home to visit her parents. She and Dima called each other every day and shared photos. But the day before her return, Dima suddenly stopped replying. That evening, the doorbell rang at her parents' house. Dima was on the doorstep with 2 bouquets, a cake, and a bottle of fine cognac for Karina's father. He beautifully asked for her hand in marriage. Everyone liked Dima, and no one objected. 3 months later, they got married. Both came from humble families, so the wedding was modest again in their favorite cafe. They rented an apartment and started building their life together. Dima worked as a marketing specialist, and Karina began her hospital internship. 5 years later, she was performing surgeries. Dima started hinting more often that it was time to think about having a child. Karina asked to wait. She loved her husband and also dreamed of children, but she wanted to first build her career and gain stability. They moved 3 times during those years, and the thought of relocating with a child scared her. They dreamed of owning their own home. A month after another conversation, they were told to vacate their apartment. The landlady's nephew was coming to study. "How long will we keep wandering?" Karina asked. "I know you're against a mortgage, but we have enough for the down payment." "I've been thinking about it too," Dima replied. "Look at these options I found." They spent 2 days searching for housing and applying for a loan. The apartments Dima found looked good online, but were disappointing in person. Time was running out. They had to move, and they couldn't get more time off work. In the end, they decided to check out one last option, an apartment with terrible photos on the website. But as soon as they stepped inside, they gasped. It was a bright, spacious, 3-room apartment with a decent renovation, and the price was surprisingly affordable. "Why are you selling it? Do you have another place to live?" Karina asked. Knowing how the elderly sometimes get left homeless, "Don't worry, dear," the owner smiled. "I bought a little house in the village I always dreamed of. I'll give part of the money to my children and use the rest to renovate the house. My grandkids love visiting, and it'll be better for them in the fresh air." Both loved the apartment. 10 days later, they were moving in. After the movers left, Karina quietly said, "Dima, I need to show you something." She handed him a pregnancy test. Dima was overjoyed. He immediately started planning the baby's room. "We need to finish the renovation before the baby comes," he said excitedly. Karina laughed. Hold on, we don't even know the gender yet. And you're already dreaming of a princess room? I'm sure it'll be a girl just as smart and beautiful as her mom, and maybe a little bit like her dad. Dima winked. But if it was a boy, a pink room definitely wouldn't do. For months later, they received double the joy an ultrasound revealed not one, but two girls. The beige pink room now seemed like the perfect choice. At the due time, their two little princesses were born carbon copies of their mom with big brown eyes and dark hair. Grandparents on both sides came to help. The twins, Leah and Mia, grew up surprisingly calm. When they turned 1.5, Karina returned to work part-time. The four of them would walk in the park and often drew admiring looks from passersby. Their family seemed perfect. Sometimes, Karina feared that happiness this complete must be fragile. But the years passed, and all remained well. The girls excelled in school. Karina became a well-known surgeon not just in the city, but the region. She was offered a position in Moscow, but she and Dima decided to stay until the girls finished school. Dima also advanced. He became the head of a department at a major company. If the girls were sick, the parents took turns staying home. This year, Leah and Mia were graduating. Both chose medicine, inspired by their mother. Leah dreamed of becoming a pediatrician, Mia a surgeon. Together with Karina, they researched universities in Moscow. A state-funded spot seemed nearly impossible, and private tuition meant serious expenses. Karina knew that even with savings, a loan would be unavoidable, especially with the high cost of living in Moscow. Dima was often away on business trips and didn't participate much in these discussions, but he promised to support any decision. The girls made 6 months before the exams. Karina began preparing. She sent resumes to Moscow clinics, passed several phone interviews, and chose 3 promising options. All said they'd be happy to hire such a skilled surgeon anytime. One day, Karina had only one scheduled surgery, but thoughts of the move and exhaustion weighed her down. She wasn't feeling well. After finishing her paperwork, she rushed home. When she entered the apartment and saw Dima's shoes, she smiled. He was back early from his trip. She was about to call for him, but heard a muffled voice in the kitchen. Dima was on the phone. She didn't mean to eavesdrop and didn't want to interrupt. She quietly headed to the living room to rest, but then Dima's voice grew louder, irritated. How many times do I have to tell you? Just wait a bit longer. Once the girls turn 18, I'll file for divorce. That way, I'll get more from selling the apartment. I'll also take out a loan. We need to live in a proper house. After the divorce, everything gets split, assets and debts. I just need to play nice for now, so we won't meet often. Karina froze. Her heart sank. Could it be true? The perfect family she cherished was an illusion. Dima planned to leave her with debt and no home. In shock, she quietly returned to the hallway, put on her coat, and slammed the door. A second later, Dima rushed out, his face pale. Karina walked back in, pretending she had just arrived. You're home early? She smiled. I'm happy to see you. I got off work early. I'll go lie down in the bedroom. You can tell me about your trip later. Dima froze. She couldn't have heard anything, he told himself. But Karina lay in bed, trying to process the betrayal. How could he plan to abandon her and the girls, knowing about their plans, the education, the move? She stopped asking why. There were no answers. Only action mattered now. An hour later, Leah and Mia came home, excitedly discussing graduation. Their energy distracted Karina from her pain. Even Dima joined the conversation as if nothing happened. Looking at him, Karina almost believed she had imagined it all. But she checked his phone and learned everything. At graduation, The parents beamed with pride as Leah and Mia waltzed across the stage. The night ended on the riverbank. Watching the sunrise together, strangers admired them, as they had years ago in the park. A week later, the girls celebrated their birthday at home with close family. Karina looked stunning in an elegant dress. She wanted to look her best because a crucial conversation awaited that evening. Guests praised her cooking, and the girls received jewelry they had long wished for. By 7 p.m., the last guest had left. Karina and Dima cleared the table together. She set out two champagne glasses and a bottle. To our girls, Dima smiled. To them, Karina said calmly, and to your dream of freedom. She handed him the divorce certificate. Dima choked. His eyes widened. You thought I'd let you leave us with debt, she continued. I know everything. Your things are packed, the bags in the closet. How dare you? He shouted. I know everything. Your things are packed, the bags in the closet. How dare you? He shouted. Take a look in the mirror, dear, Karina said, and tell your precious Ina that you still have to pay off the girls' tuition. Oh, and one more thing, I paid for all 5 years up front, not just a semester like we planned. Dima silently set down his glass and left. Karina poured herself more champagne. She had won. It wasn't easy physically or emotionally. She had done everything to keep Dima from finding out about the loan and the court proceedings. Just yesterday, when she saw the bank notification on his phone, she smiled. They had been officially divorced for a month. When the girls came back from the cafe, she didn't ruin their evening. The next day, she told them everything without going into details. She explained that things like this happen, but their plans were still in place, and their father would be helping financially. Later, Leah and Mia met with Dima. He let it slip that he was paying for their studies against his will, blaming Karina for leaving him without a home or love. After that, the girls no longer wanted to see him. Karina and her daughters left for Moscow to start a new life. They would do everything to make their mom proud, but she already was of them and of herself for surviving betrayal, preserving her family, and protecting her daughter's future. If this story touched your heart, please support me with a like and a follow. It takes just a second, but means the world to me. Thank you, and see you again soon.